Thank you. All right, I'd like to call to order today the meeting of the MARB Accountability Review Board. This is the Sprague Subcommittee. It is March the 24th, and we do have a quorum. The time is 12:32. I'm Kimberly Kennison. I'm the designee of Secretary Beckham, and my co-chair is not with me as of yet, but she will be arriving or plan to attend this meeting. I don't have any opening remarks at this time, so we can move to the first item on the agenda, which is the approval of the minutes for February the 24th subcommittee. If I could get a motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Mark. How about a second? Sal, are you with me? Oh. I don't hear Sal. Did we lose Sal? No, I see his number here. Sal, can you hear me? Ah, Christine, welcome.
Hi there.
How are you? So we are in the process of approval of the minutes, and I have a motion to move, but we lost connectivity, I think, with Sal because he's not responding at this moment. Could I get a second?
Yes, you may. I second that.
Thank you. Any discussion on the minutes? I have one change under the member of attendees. Sal is listed twice. The second one should be Matt Brockman attended. Julian, if you could note that change. And with that change, is there any other discussion? I hear none. Can I get a vote? There's only 3 of us, thank you, and I, with the suggested change, please. Sal, are you with us? I don't hear him, but I do see his number is still here. Maybe we will be able to hear him later. We keep having that problem with Sal. All right. The minutes have been approved. We can move on to the next item on the agenda, which is review and discussion from the First Selectman's 2023 recommended budget. And I am going to turn this conversation over to the First Selectman and her team to give us an update on your budget. And commend you for getting this out early.
Well, we wanted to try to meet what the guidelines, what the timelines that we had set, and there were definitely some changes that we made. We moved the town aid road money out of the budget and into capital non-recurring because with the way the auditors are looking at it, some of the expenses that had been being allocated towards that, they said are not eligible, so that we're going to move it out and aggregate the funds to possibly be able to use for road work or a new vehicle or whatever. So this seemed like the time to do that because we did have the increase in our grand list that could offset that so that it wouldn't be so painful. We tried to model it as much and stick as close as we could to the 5-year plan so that we were including the $500,000 increase. And the funds that would be being moved back over to the CNR side to cover the deficit. Basically, the operational expenses will still be covered by the 36 mills that we are currently levying on the taxpayers. So the $500,000 increase would be for one-time expenses that such as we put some funds in there in the contingent fund for expenses for that dam at the Paper Mill Pond.
But I'm still muted, look.
Added some...
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, good, thank you.
Thank you.
we added into the, engineering fees also for that same thing. So most of the things that we put in there were, one-time expenses that would cover the $500,000 increase. And we did also add the line item into the budget where hadn't been there previously, which was the transfer over, to cover the deficit.
Okay, good. Any other items that you'd like to walk us through when we look at your budget?
Basically, I think we included, the salary increases that we put in for the staff were 2%, which were the same as what the, contract for the public works and similar to what the school is doing for their non-certified staff, or expecting to do in any case. We put in some increases to estimate what we anticipated would be for fuel and heating oil and that sort of thing. And we had additional funding for counsel for legal expenses because of that ongoing lawsuit. So
Okay.
I think, and we also added some additional hours in the public works. Over time, over the last several years, we're down at least one full-time position. So we added 10 hours a week to try to, they're having difficulty keeping up with the amount of work, the volume of work. So we added 10 hours a week in there.
Okay. I think in addition to the summary that Julian had provided, it would be helpful when we get ready to go to the full MARB if you give us a list of all of your assumptions as a front page overview like you do for your monthlies.
Okay.
When we get ready to present this up to the full MARB would be very helpful.
Okay.
I'm
happy
just
to, take any suggestions or questions or feedback.
Mhm. So the mill rate increase under taxes, and you're calling that line 66, is the 369,000 is the increase that you're planning?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yes.
And the reduction under line 68 is where you're going to move where it says state local, where you're going to put it. Is it like a special revenue fund or no, it was the capital non-reoccurring, correct? Is that the
Right.
145?
Yep. It's actually, I think it's a little bit more than that.
Okay.
I think it's like 152. But that's the difference though that we ended up with because something else would have gone up. But yes,
Okay.
we put it at a line item for Town Aid Road. So.
Okay. I see that your interest payments on the bonds is going down. Are you anticipating to go out to get any new debt this year?
No.
Okay. Not for capital?
No. Our hope is to try to hold off until we pay off some of our debt before we have to go out for more. We're pretty high on the debt side.
Okay. Can you tell me what's embedded under the miscellaneous expense line for line 49, which is almost a $60,000 increase? Is that the legal? No, that would be in a different line.
That is the contingent fund where we added funds for the dam, not knowing what we're going to need to pay for we have to clear the area, and we're not sure what expenses we might incur, so we put that there.
Good. Very good. Is the capital project line for the 10,000 on line 40? Sorry, I'm going backwards. Because I always like to look at revenue first. Is that what is that for?
That is for the engineering that we're planning, the extra engineering.
Okay. For the dam?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. You didn't mention the increase in the police department.
Oh, okay, the increase, thank you. The increase in the police department, is the figure that we received from the state, saying that this is what our cost would be for the year. It was the understanding of our resident trooper that the, amount we would pay for, fringe benefits should have been lower. And that's supposed to be being worked on. The state senator, Austin, is supposed to be checking into that and getting back with different numbers, but I budgeted for the amount that we received, saying this is what we would have to pay, because if nothing changes, we'll have to pay what the amount is.
Okay.
Which is a higher amount in the fringe than we were planning.
I understand. And the increase in the town council, if you did hear that, I glossed over it. Apologize.
That's for the ongoing litigation for the.
Oh, that's,
student
okay.
bill.
Okay.
We had
Is
to
that the
appropriate
litigation
additional-
that brought us to this point to begin with?
Yes. It is
Thank you, Mark.
currently scheduled to go for mediation. We're hoping to be able to not need to have these additional expenditures, but we have to plan.
Is there a time
Okay.
period for that?
April 23rd, I think it is.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
One more question down on the other miscellaneous revenue. I just saw that for $52,000 increase. The reason for that?
That's the transfer in of the capitalized interest from
Okay.
our bond premium
Yeah.
for the interest that we're gonna use that to help pay for this in the current year.
Okay. I think that hits all of my highlights. Any questions from the members?
I don't have a question, just a comment. The budget is boring, and I mean it as a compliment.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sal.
On the, looking at Julian's, do we have the superintendent on the line?
We do.
Looking at Julian's, comments here, and I know this has been a situation that we've developed over the years because it's so unpredictable. But on the special education piece again, the tuition, increases, you know, obviously that's a flux. Is that because of identification or of new students moving in?
For the most part, it's a little of both, actually. But it also has to do with different programs that we're running for students.
Okay. Because that historically, as you know, eats up a significant number of increase. It's unpredictable, unfortunately, but nonetheless, I noticed that the magnet school tuition is increasing too. Can you share with me what magnet schools your kids, the students, are going to? I know they go to Norwich Academy for high school.
Right, they go to NFA for high school,
Yeah.
and that's under regular, for the most part, regular special ed tuition.
Right,
So-
right.
We have students in the London Magnet School. We have students also in a Wyndham Magnet School, and we also have students, one student in ACT, which is EastCon Magnet School.
Huh.
But didn't you put in restrictions so that they, like, when they rolled off, that you wouldn't be getting new students in some of these schools?
What we did is we cut back on the school's designated high school. We made NFA our designated high school, and any other high school that students go to is a school of choice. So we do not, we'll pay the tuition, but we will not pay for transportation after next year.
Okay.
I remember it was high school because you had that one or two students at Waterford or something like that, yeah. So
Those
it's
are,
not a significant number now, but, yeah, it is what it is.
it is, we do have two students at what's called the Friendship School in Waterford. Yes.
Yeah, right.
But that's only a K-1 school, magnet school, and so next year, I believe the students will be in second grade, and I'm not sure where they plan on going. That's up to the parents.
Okay.
Is the Board of Ed budget, I didn't double check the amount in the city's budget, is this the Board of Ed's request, or is your number different based on the 5-year plan? I just didn't double check to see if it ties.
It is the,
6-8. It is his approved budget. Okay.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
And it ties it's not exact on the 5-year plan. The 5-year plan was 1.5 of an increase, and this is 1.6. It's very, very close.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
But I'll remind you also that we're scheduled for an increase in ECS, which actually brings it down to a 1.34.
Right.
Beautiful.
So as usual, he's on point.
You know, it's always a pleasure to have that kind of relationship.
It sure is.
And the synergy is great. Understanding the big picture is so important. Thank you. Increase in, you just say ECS, right?
That's correct.
Perfect. I'm marking that on your budget. Okay. I don't think I had that noted from before.
I believe it's in Julian's summary also.
Okay. Perfect. Any other questions from the board members? When do you anticipate in your timeline, in your process, that we would see the 5-year plan?
We're
Superintendent.
already working. Yeah, we're working on it, and so we hope to get that to you soon.
Perfect. So we'll have that ready maybe for the next meeting, you think, or?
We will try for that.
Okay. Very good.
So on the issue of the grand list growth, is there any possibility that could trigger a change to the mill rate as part of the 5-year plan? I know that Julian's summary suggested that the $0.5 mil increase would proceed as scheduled, but curious to know if the actual experience will change that conclusion.
It may, I mean, as it goes through the process with the Board of Finance, they may not want us to go that far as the $0.5 mil increase, in which case we would have to make some adjustments. But I would encourage them to at least go with the $0.25 mil if they didn't feel comfortable going with the $0.5 mil. I think we have to plan for eliminating the debt, the deficit on the CNR side. So it is an increase, but at this point, it's not as painful of an increase because the revaluation hasn't been done yet for the most part. So that most of our grand list increase was motor vehicle and personal property.
Got it. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you're doing that because that's very prudent to be making sure that the entire house is in order, not just the rooms that we walk through.
Right, right. So while I'm sure it's not going to be popular, I think, people have to look at it almost like their own personal finances, and if their savings account is overdrawn, they've got to fix that before they can move on.
Right. It's prudent.
Yeah, and the flip side of that is if you get a windfall of unanticipated revenues, put it away.
Right.
Right.
Right now, you don't have any safety net. You only have the MARB as a safety net. That's it. And
I think that was the concern as we were preparing the budget, was that we could have put it in at the lower amount, but that meant that if something happened, we were sunk. We have, like you said, we have no safety net.
nothing.
We have nothing to fall back on at this point. So until we get there, it's not a comfortable feeling.
Nope. But there will be end in sight. It's, you're making progress. The partnership that you've had and you've built with the Board of Ed to collectively has really, you're both have your eyes on making sure that this deficit and the situation you're in closes much sooner. And you've already have your performance has already shown that. So you're coming through much quicker than what was planned in the original 5-year plan. So you thought you'd be there 5 years, but you're already going to make fill your fund balance, switch it from the negative situation to a positive much quicker than what was planned. So kudos to you guys, both of you.
Yeah, the whole point is to get out from underneath us.
Exactly. and we're ready. We'll be ready to cut the ties, but of course we're always here as a resource to be, for any kind of, financial feedback.
Well, and that may be true that we are looking forward to be able to get out from under, but on the other side, we've been very appreciative of the input and the guidance that you provided, because that helps us to move forward.
Sure.
And,
Yeah, because you don't have the financial bench at your.
No. But you are right. The superintendent, the Board of Education, it's been a partnership, and with both of us working towards the same goal, that's been very, very helpful.
Right. Julian, anything that we haven't touched on that you'd like to bring to our attention?
I would, bottom line, the budget is built on increasing the fund balance, I think by about $68,000, $61,000. And that's in addition to what they funded to keep whittling away at the deficit in the CNR, or the capital fund. And then the other thing that we didn't mention is that for now, they've built the budget using the mill rate of 36.5 on both real estate, personal property, and motor vehicle taxes. And so if the motor vehicle tax does come through, they would need to swap that out, make the adjustment to the motor vehicle mill rate, and then reflect the motor vehicle grant that is in the governor's midterm budget. So there would be a switch there, but I think for the time being, to keep it simple, they're reflecting this one uniform mill rate.
Okay.
That's something that might be revised before, at some point in the process, depending on how things proceed at the state level.
Yep. Very good. This would put them ahead of the 5-year plan, I believe, for our fund balance based on their performance. You agree? Julian? I believe so.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So there's no risk there. The only other question I would probably have is on the capital non-reoccurring in the capital budget that you have there. Is there any risk there that besides the dam? We know about the dam, and you've put in for that. Is there any other, and I guess besides storms, which you can't predict, that could be a red flag of an immediate need, like, a roof or something?
I don't think there is on that. I mean, we have some water and sewer issues, but we're going to try to take care of that under ARPA with the ARPA
Okay.
funding. We're trying to use the ARPA funding for also one-time things that are outside of a normal budget. I don't think we have anything else, unless there's something we don't know about, that, like you said, storms or roads.
Okay. I know that you wanted to use it to upgrade your IT, which will be great.
Right.
Your
That also,
information
yep.
technologies, right?
Yes, and we're working on a plan for that with the IT person.
Okay. So then we can see you
Right.
on camera, and people will know what you look like. You can't hide behind your initials anymore. All right. If we have no other discussion on this budget, then can we have the timeline on the next steps?
The Board of Finance has been meeting weekly, and so they're meeting again tonight. But they haven't made any movement forward yet as far as any changes. So, and they haven't scheduled anything beyond tonight as far as weekly meetings. So I'm hopeful that they're going to at least discuss it tonight, and then make some sort of plan for when we can, if they have changes that they want to see or anything like that. I don't know any of that yet.
So
They
this
got it
is
last week at the same time.
okay. This is a draft
Correct.
proposed. Okay.
Can I just fill in a little
Please.
bit on the
Yes,
process?
yes.
Because the budget that the MARB will take action on is what the Board of Finance submits to the town meeting. So sometime between now and I think close to the end of April, the Board of Finance will have conducted a public hearing, reacted to the public hearing, and will formulate its proposed budget that it puts out for the town meeting or referendum, whichever path the town chooses. And that will be the budget that the MARB acts on.
Okay.
So what we're hoping is that by the time this subcommittee meets in April, the public hearing will have been held and the Board of Finance will have settled on its proposed budget so that the subcommittee can take action on that. And then the MARB would take action in May, and that should give the town sufficient time to, with those approvals in place, and then whenever the town meeting or referendum falls, the town would have plenty of time to get the tax bills out. We wanted to get this review of this budget in so that if there was any feedback,
right,
or suggestions, that the Board of Finance would be hearing the suggestions from the subcommittee as well as the comment they get from the public hearing at the same time, and could kind of, make any, respond to those comments as they see fit and what they push out for the town meeting.
that sounds good. Very good. In addition to the budget, when we get to May, we would also be looking to approve the 5-year plan, both of them. So at the April subcommittee, we would need to have the 5-year plan.
Okay.
Please. All right, no
Oh,
more just, go ahead.
No, I just came, it was briefly mentioned. On the school side, I remember that there were some negotiations taking place with a group. They were going to mediation or something. Is there an update on that?
We are going to mediation. The mediation is scheduled for April 5th.
Okay,
Okay.
so we'll get an update at our subcommittee.
Yes,
Thank you. And good luck to you.
thank you.
If we have
You-
no other business, I believe
Yep.
a motion to adjourn is in order.
Oh, we do have other business. I'm sorry,
Oh,
Sal.
okay. All right, that's all right.
Thank you. Just a couple of other quick updates, but should not take us that long, Sal. But I think that if nobody else has any other questions about the budget, we can move on to those other line items. Can we get an update, please, First Selectman, on the policies and procedures? And that would
Yes.
be for the city and the Board of Ed, both of them.
So for the city, that those have been finalized and are going to, they actually have been sent out to the Board of Selectmen, and will be, I'm looking for them to adopt them at our next meeting.
Wow.
So that would be a good one to have off of our plate.
Very good. And does that doesn't include the Board of Eds, yes or no?
No, that does not include the Board of Ed. I'm assuming they would
No.
be doing theirs with the Board of Ed.
Correct. Superintendent?
We do not have to bring those policies to the Board of Ed, so I believe that Michelle has them set and ready to go, and we've already
Okay.
adopted the vast majority of them.
Very good. Great news. Can we get an update on the audit?
The
Please.
audit is fairly close to being finished, but because of the item with the general fund, I don't believe it's going to be able to be finalized by the March 31st date.
Okay,
So I think that we will likely be extending again.
okay.
I had hoped that was going to be
Resolved.
resolved, but it's not yet.
Yep, but we did hear that the financials were in good shape. You're really down to one last transaction, to my knowledge. And
Right.
I know you have draft reports. You've
Yes.
seen them, yes,
Yes, yeah. Mhm.
because I know you've shared them. Okay. All right, then extension. If there's anything that you need Julian and I for, if there's any kind of explanation, you don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay, thank you.
ARPA funding, do you have an update there?
With that, we've just been, prioritizing and trying to get some plans in order, for the IT, which items would be the highest priority, and start with those, and starting to gather the information for that. So I know there's an April report that we're going to get filed.
Okay.
Just for we've really spent very little so far because we're trying to be very careful and plan so that we can take care of the largest amount of things.
Mm-hmm.
Spread it out a little bit so that every area gets a little something. So
Good. All right, thank you. I don't have anything under other business or other related, Julian, unless I'm forgetting. Do we?
No, I don't have anything further.
Okay. If any of the members? Nope. Okay, Sal. How about a
to
motion?
adjourn.
Thank you, Sal. How about a second? Thank you,
Second.
Christine. I see your hand. Yep. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Have a great day. Thank you, everyone.
thank
You
Thank
too.
you.
Stay well.
Thank you. You too.
Stay
Bye.
well.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Great work.